Welcome to the She Sailor Sea Story featuring Nicole Chochrek. Nicole lives and works in Buffalo, New York. She has a bachelor's degree in geography and environmental science from the University of North Texas and a master's of fine arts from the University of Buffalo, where she was awarded UB's Arts Collaboratory Student Residency for 2020-21. She worked with Coalesce Center for Biological Art. As an interdisciplinary artist, Nicole has exhibited widely from El Shahid Park in Kuwait to the Center for Exploratory and Perceptual Arts in Buffalo, New York. She attended Laboratory Art Plus residency in Spokane, Washington, and presented her research on air quality and the impacts of fire season through the National Creative Placemaking Leadership Summit in Phoenix in 2019. Nicole received the Creatives Rebuild New York grant in partnership with SEPA Gallery and founded Broken Plastics, launching microplastic recycling bins across Erie and Niagara counties in New York. The research collected through this project was presented last year through the New York State Microplastics Summit at University at Buffalo.
Well, I can't thank you enough for having me here. This summer was my first time ever sailing with Rosalia Project. So I am so new. It's kind of unbelievable. So thank you for having me here, and thank you for letting me share my work with you. It was kind of an organic connection with Rosalia because we work in very similar capacities, but in different regions. So I predominantly work on land. As Debbie had mentioned, my background is in environmental science. And I originally left a research-based field for the visual arts because I'm neurodivergent, I'm dyslexic. And I regularly use auditory and visual aids to help support me in navigating the world. And as an artist, I create them. And Broken Plastics is kind of organically come out of that. It's an art and science initiative hoping to diversify ways we understand the impact of plastic pollution. This originally started just from collecting, being aware of how much these smaller plastics were everywhere that I was going, and the geographer in me was bagging and tagging. And very quickly, I noticed plastic found in Portugal could be found in New York and could be found in New Mexico. And it started a series of questions that really contributed to what would become a larger practice of not only removing this debris from the environment, but reframing it through the art lens as a free, abundant, and accessible material that could also be used for educational purposes. So I decided to invite people into my own practice by creating these moments of intervention, right? I invented the microplastic recycling bin and then positioned a whole fleet of these around Erie and Niagara County in New York, inviting people to engage in this work. The use of these bright colors are meant to entice you to want to make you know more. While it's really hard to collect microplastics, I specifically chose microplastics because of its impact, right? On the top of the bin, there's a size chart. And a lot of people don't even realize microplastics are just really small plastics. So this is actually a great example of how plastic fragments, right? This was all one object, and slowly as it was subjected to the elements outside, it breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces. And I focus on microplastics because it's the point of no return. Once it's microscopic, we really do not have the infrastructure to be able to remove it in the ways that we really need. So on top of that, there's a little side on one of the sides of the art bin, there's a little cubby, and inside this cubby, you can access one of these field guides. This is an activity book created for differently abled learners. This was published through SEPA Gallery, and it's an open educational resource. So you can visit brokenplastics.org. If there's any educators here, whether you're in the sciences or in the arts, you can incorporate this into your curriculum. Also, if you want to do a meaningful activity in which you're removing this debris from the environment, this is a fun thing to do with friends and family as well. So on top of hosting these art bins and creating educational resources, I regularly organize community cleanups, and I'll bring supplies and people join me. And it's an amazing way to kinesthetically get into the environment, really see with your own eyes the impact it's having, and collect into these jars. This jar ended up becoming significant because it became a unit of measurement. One jar takes about an hour to fill when you're focusing on smaller plastics. If you're just collecting microplastics, like just very, very small pieces of plastics, that jar can take 3 to 6 hours to fill up. It's pretty crazy. So it really allows you to physically understand the problem in a different capacity. But then also utilizing art, one of my favorite things about it is that it creates inherent value, right? Reframing things, being able to see something differently allows us to move within the issue in a greater capacity. I think because the severity of what we're working with is so grand, this is a great means to produce citizen scientists, produce environmental stewardship without the overwhelm, and really base it in community, driven through curiosity and interest. And so I was already gravitating towards water because it's an amazing conduit for debris. If you follow any shoreline, I feel confident that you will find micro, meso, macro, all different sizes of plastic, and really all different kinds of debris as well. And so whether you're following Niagara River or creeks or your local lake, it really, you can see the impact yourself. So I presented this work, as Debbie had mentioned, to a microplastic summit at the University at Buffalo, which is where I was fortunate to meet Rachel, the founder of Rosalia Projects, and to be able to hear that the work they were doing, I was immediately interested. Because where I feel confident on land, the water was an unknown for me. And I knew its significance because I could see it across our shorelines. And so being able to join expedition this summer, I can't tell you how significant it was, not only to be in community and again, being able to really elevate each other, not only within meaningful work, but the diversity of skills and assets that people were able to bring to the team. And also what became very significant too is that I was aware that you follow people, you will find trash. It was very surprising to see the impact it was having on remote islands, right? Places that there are no humans, but certainly water is kind of, again, being a conduit for these larger deposits. The severity is great, but there's something about being able to do this work in community. I was fully immersed within this project. Something that really stuck to me is what Ashley said, is that these boats are like tiny worlds, right? Like we have finite resources on them. We have to be able to work together to even navigate. And I think within society, sometimes we find ourselves isolated and in silos. We all at least got a big dose of that with the heat of the pandemic. And so to be able to join people in doing this meaningful work, I can't tell you how significant it was. So again, please feel free to visit brokenplastics.org to learn more about the work that I do, joining Rosalia and supporting their mission, and allowing them to continue to do this incredible work and the research and the data that they're providing to create real meaningful change.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nicole.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
So darling, sing along with me and let your voice blow away in the breeze. Just let